So there's been a lot of controversy surrounding a remake, or lack thereof, of Final Fantasy VII. It's something fans have been clamoring for years. There was that opening scene being remade as a tech demo, there was the spin-off games, the animated movies, and so forth. Final Fantasy VII is a good game. Not my favourite Final Fantasy, but it's good. The combat is great, the world is interesting, the villain is great, the music is good. It ticks all the right boxes, so is a remake really necessary? One of my favourite games is Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. It's a remake of the original Metal Gear Solid for the GameCube, and has excellent gameplay, stellar voice acting, and a great story. Only thing is, the original had all of that. It didn't need to be remade. Then why is Twin Snakes one of my favourites? Because it has everything that was good about the original, plus one or two extras. I'm in a minority on this opinion, though. My friends told me it wasn't worth the money. YouTuber and Metal Gear fan Cadicris called it a sloppy execution, and I can't help feeling this is how people would react if Final Fantasy VII was remade in that fashion. Another way to look at it is the Resident Evil remake, another GameCube remake of a PS1 classic. The Resident Evil remake is immensely popular due to additional content and so forth, despite the fact that a lot of people, myself included, really love the PS1 original. The difference between that and FF7 being, well, Resident Evil was only 6 years old at the time and was made for a Nintendo console. A different audience. Final Fantasy VII has been around for an awful long time. People have a lot of love for it, and if changes were made there would be an uproar. Neither are my people of the Star Wars Special Editions, or Conker's Live and Reloaded. But FF7, Twin Snakes and Resident Evil all got me thinking, why are there no remakes of bad games? If a game is bad the first time around, why not try again? Get it right. I don't mean updates or patches, I mean trying again to make the game, again. Which leads me to a game I've got weird feelings towards. Castlevania 64. Castlevania 64, released in 1999, was the first attempt at a 3D Castlevania game. While today's third-person action is the style of the last two Castlevania games, Castlevania 64 was the first of its kind, and people hate it. While it was well liked at the time, it's not looked upon fondly now. See the angry video game nerder JonTron reviews, they think it sucks. The main complaint is the controls on the camera, and I totally see why. It's very floaty, the camera is awkward, sometimes going far away from the player, the climbing sections are awkward, the jumping is off, etc. But with all that, I don't hate this game. Why? Because the stuff that works, works. The atmosphere is wonderful, you feel alone in this castle, and the castle feels big. The level design is great, it feels contained, and some of the areas like the villa or the castle centre are beautiful. There's also some interesting objectives. Having to go to a rose garden at a certain time, climbing the castle gate and avoiding obstacles and projectiles feels very Castlevania. Being chased through a maze, and yes, I like the section where you can neither run nor jump because you're carrying explosives. It's tense, it requires you to focus and to time your moves correctly, and the music is very good, especially the castle center stage. It pulls me into the game and makes me feel like I'm on an adventure. All that stuff is great. Sadly, this game is bogged down by its awkward camera and bad controls. So why not remake it? Sort the camera, redo the controls, leave the rest, and you've got a good game on your hands. But what about a game that has a great idea behind it, but is just poorly executed? A prime example of this is Star Wars Masters of Terras for the PlayStation. The game is a Star Wars fighter. The moves are delayed, the jumps are ridiculous, the special moves aren't very special, and the lightsabers are like big sticks. The problem is that a Star Wars fighter should be spectacular. Star Wars has wonderful worlds, ripe for stages, excellent characters with differing weapons, the Force is a special move, lightsaber combat, but there has been no good Star Wars fighter. There was lightsaber battles on Wii, and appearances from Yoda and Darth Vader in Soul Calibur 4, but neither of those are worthy. There's still potential there. Masters of Terras and Castlevania 64 are two examples I can think of why certain bad games should be remade, and I'm sure there's lots of people out there who can think of numerous more. So maybe next time you're on a forum talking about how you're dying for a remake of Pokemon Yellow, a game that holds up quite well, maybe just think of a game you didn't like, but if done right, you possibly could.